Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is Friday, the 15th day of March, and today is National Shoe the World Day. So it's a day that you make sure you get shoes to people who don't have shoes. I think that's a cool thing. It's also National Pears Helene Day. I don't think I know what that means. Is that a dessert?
I think it's a dessert.
I've tried that.
Not had it.
Everything you think is wrong day. Well, that's for me every day because I'm married to Heidi. She's always right. I'm always wrong.
I was going to say, what is that supposed to mean?
I mean, I'm never right. See, what I just said wasn't right. I can't win. Also, National Kansas Day, National National Dress in Blue Day as well. All of those things. And coming up on the program today, we're going to visit with Katie O'Brien and Katie Colleton. They're with a program called Teachers. It's on TV Land, and their season finale and their series finale is coming up on Tuesday. Going to chat with these ladies about this program. They've done quite well with this, and we'll maybe see what they're going to be up to after this. But Teachers on TV Land, Katie and Katie coming up on today's program.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at weirdgiftoftheday.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the weird gift of the day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. weirdgiftoftheday.com. That's weirdgiftoftheday.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such. A study by the American College of Cardiology found that Americans under the age of 40 are having a heart attack more than ever before.
That's from lack of movement.
Yeah, more Americans under the age of 40 are having heart attacks than ever before. That's a weird way to put that sentence.
Yeah, it is. But it's because we
need more physical activity,
yeah,
says the man who's sitting in a chair right now and got a cramp reaching down to pick up a pen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was kidding. We do. We all need a lot more activity. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website BetterCreditCards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. BetterCreditCards.net. That's BetterCreditCards.net.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by Time4Rehab.com. A bus driver has been charged with 26 counts of endangering the welfare of children and 1 count of DUI after leaving dozens of students stranded at a gas station. This is not a good thing. This happened in Pennsylvania. Lori Ann Mancos was driving a regular bus route when she reportedly pulled into a gas station after a little disturbance on the bus. She parked the bus, got out, and walked away. She handed her keys to a bus station employee before leaving the scene. Some of the students on the bus were joking about her driving and ultimately asked her to get off the bus. Many of the children were picked up at the gas station by their parents. Others were driven home by another bus driver who was called by the district. She was charged with 1 count of endangering the welfare of children for each child on the bus. She was also charged with 1 count of DUI because it was discovered that she was under the influence.
That's just sick.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. And here's the thing. If you need to drink to deal with the kids on the bus, maybe you shouldn't be a bus driver.
You should maybe look at a different line of work.
And kids, be nice to the bus drivers. I mean, just be nice. There's no reason at all to not be. It doesn't make any sense. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Ratings for Tuesday's Bachelor finale were expected to be much higher than last year's. I've never
watched it at all. I have no interest.
I saw part of one episode one time and I was like, wow, this is just a weird thing. But I know that people love it. So if you like that show, did you like it this season? Apparently this was Colton, maybe the guy's name was like a really good one to watch. I don't know. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Nene Leakes unfollowed Bravo boss Andy Cohen on Instagram. And I don't know, are we supposed to be concerned about that? Is that a big deal?
I have no interest. I don't care.
Is this going to change your plans for the day, Heidi?
Not even a little bit. I don't know who either of them are, so this affects me in no way.
Heidi, quit paying attention to this program 30 seconds ago. All right, thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patti Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. Chipotle has started their very own rewards program, and it'll be offering customers free food through that program. I'm a fan of the rewards program. It's hard for me to say this, Heidi. I am a fan of the rewards programs, but here's what I'm not a fan of. Carrying another stinking card in my wallet. Yeah. I actually went through and dumped all of those. There's one rewards card thing that I still carry. It's a place that I go to more often than the others. But there were some I'm like, I haven't been there in a year.
It's too bad somebody can't make
one card. I believe there is something like that.
That when somebody asks you if you want to sign up for the rewards program, you just say sure, and you hand them this card, and then they stick your chip in the computer, and it puts all of this stuff on. I
think there is one. I'm almost positive that's a thing. And I know there's an app.
Well, then why aren't we using that?
I don't know. There's an app for that, too. There's a something rewards wallet or something. I don't know. I don't really need any more rewards. I've had enough rewards in life. I don't need it anymore. I'm okay. I'll go to the grocery store, and they'll ask if I have the little rewards card for gas points or whatever. I'm like, no. I told the one lady, because she was really selling me on it, I said, I drive a pogo stick. And then she looked at me funny, and we moved on. So
you're such a dork. You thought that was going to get you laughs from every, all the cashiers are high-fiving each other. And I think this is what, in your mind, this is how things go down.
He drives a pogo stick.
They're telling that story to everybody the rest of the day.
You don't need a rewards card. You need to get a life. So far, one story in, and Heidi's got the best of me. Shall we move on? A Florida man was arrested after he broke into a woman's home and slept on her couch. Can you imagine?
This happens a lot.
It does. I got a couple stories today of things that have happened a lot. I had a guy sleep on my couch once.
Yeah, and it could have been a situation like with yours, where he thought he was at a friend's house, and
for some reason, I don't know how, but I left my door unlocked. This guy walked in my front door and slept on my sofa. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, there's a dude on my couch. You? So this happened to a lady in Florida, and I don't know exactly what all happened there. A wild brawl broke out at a Chinese buffet in New York City after two women argued over the final batch of crab legs. Second or third crab leg story now in the last month. I think we need more crab legs, apparently, or we just need to, like them a little bit less. We're having brawls over crab legs.
It's food in general.
Welcome to 2019.
You would think we're living in a third world country where people are dying of starvation. The way people freak out over their food.
I don't understand that. And the English software engineer who really did invent the internet says that he fears that the internet may destroy humanity. May destroy humanity? I think
we're already there.
The internet, by the way, turned 30 this last week. So 30th birthday for the internet. And we talked about that. Heidi does not remember the first website she went to. I do.
I think it was Hotmail.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was thinking you said you don't know, but you thought.
Yeah, I think it was Hotmail.
Well, there you go. I guess we'll go with that. And then something that we just talked about this, I don't know if it was on the air, if this was just after we were done with the program, but Michael Jackson has been in the news. And my beautiful bride over here had a question that I couldn't answer, but I have the answer now. She said, whatever happened to that chimpanzee, Bubbles? Remember that?
Yeah.
You were really concerned about Bubbles? Well, take a listen to this. Bubbles, the chimpanzee that once lived at Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, is now living at a Florida animal sanctuary. Bubbles is 34 years old. And the reason this story is out, there were a lot of people that were wondering that. So, if you start typing that into Google, that it automatically finishes the sentence, because there's a lot of people that are concerned about the chimp. They're like, whatever happened to that chimp?
Yeah.
So now you know. The answer is Bubbles, the chimpanzee who once lived at the Neverland Ranch, is now living at a Florida animal sanctuary, 34 years of age. So there you go. This has been your Scoop of the Day. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Do you have IRS tax problems? Are they keeping you up at night?
Afraid to open your own mail or even answer your telephone? If your tax problems are affecting your family life, you need to know you have options. You have rights, and we'll make sure you get them. Call and speak with Mike Habib, the tax expert who will handle your case at 877-78-TAXES or online at myirs.taxrelief.com. That's 877-78-TAXES or myirs.taxrelief.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I've got not one, but two guests today, and they're both named Katie. We've got Katie with an I-E, Katie O'Brien, and Katie with a Y, Colleton, and they're both from TV Land's Teachers. Katie and Katie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very, very good. We're excited to chat with you. So let's start with Katie O'Brien. That way we can try to keep it so I'm not asking you both at the same time. First of all, you guys work together to co-create and write and produce this show, and you star in it. How long has the program been on TV Land?
Oh, gosh. I think it's been on about 3 years now, maybe 4 years total. But we're in our third season, and we're wrapping up 50 episodes. It's been 50 episodes that we've done it for, so it's been awesome.
Now, where did the idea come from? We'll visit with the other Katie now. Where did the idea come from for this program called Teachers?
Well, we were an improv group in Chicago, performing around town, and tax professor Matt Miller approached us, saying that we all look like teachers. And we said, thank you so much. No, but he kind of planted the seed, and it started as a web series, and then we sold it to TV Land.
So it started as an online series. How long was it online before it became a program on TV Land?
Well, we released it in 2012. Within a year, we sold it, but it does take a while to get the pilot made, and then a couple months before season one. So I think it was about 2 or 3 years before we actually got on air, but we sold it within a year. It was great luck.
Again, back to Katie O'Brien. This is a really cool thing to have a show that you guys were producing online and then have the thing actually become a television program on TV Land. Were either of you ever interested in being teachers, or have you ever been a teacher before?
We have not, and we've never been interested, but one of the Katies, Caitlin Barlow, who plays Miss Cannon on the show, was a Chicago public school teacher. She taught in Chicago, and so she was a really good source for any time we were writing material where she would be like, that wouldn't happen, or you know what teachers really want to see happen. So she would give us ideas of what would really happen in the classroom and what it was really like. So she was a really good source throughout the project. But we have a ton of friends who are teachers and family members who are all teachers, so we had a lot of ideas coming at us. Back when
WKRP was a television show, radio people from all over the country were sending them ideas and talking to them all the time. Were you guys hearing from teachers all the time as well, Katie? Were they reaching out saying, hey, you should do this, or we love the show, or were you getting some good feedback from teachers?
Yes, we were. That's actually, we love hearing from teachers. I think that's a huge part of the demographic of watching the show. We get a lot of comments like, this is what I wish I could say in the classroom. This is what actually does happen. It scares us to hear how relatable it is. We try to go crazy. But we hear a great response of this character is my coworker, and she's a nightmare. So we love it. We hear from teachers all the time.
Again, back with Katie O'Brien. I see that the final episode for this season is coming up on TV Land Tuesday, 10/9 Central. It's going to be, when is it? It's coming soon here, isn't it? March 19th?
Yeah, it's March 19th. Yeah, it's the finale. And it's a great episode because it's our final episode of the series. And so you'll see a lot of things wrap up. But there's also a lot of surprises, and there's some great special guests. Cloris Leachman is a special guest in that episode, and she was amazing to hang out with. We all were dying. So yeah, it's a really fun episode that I think people are going to be really surprised and excited to see.
So not just a season finale, but the series finale on Tuesday, March 19th.
Yeah, the series finale.
So do you guys have plans for these characters to move on after this, or this is kind of done and moving on to new things?
We're moving on to new things. The group has been together for 10 years. And like O'Brien said, we've done 50 episodes of the show, so we're kind of excited to try something different.
Well, I wish you the very best in whatever your future endeavors are, and thank you so much for taking time to chat with me. And I guarantee you there's teachers out there that are loving the fact that they had a chance to be in the spotlight for this. So thank you very much for doing what you do.
Thank you for having us.
Again, Katie O'Brien and Katie Colleton. And how many other Katies? You mentioned another Katie. Are there more than 3 of you, or are there just the 3 of you?
Oh, my, there's 5 of us total. There's me, Katie Carlson, Kate Lambert, Catherine Renee Thomas, and Caitlin Barlow. That's what makes up the group in the show.
That is crazy. All Katies. So and I guess, you know what? It's nobody's going to forget the names anyway. They'll all remember the first name, at least.
That's true.
Again, Katie O'Brien and Katie Colleton have been our guests. The program is called Teachers, and the season finale and the series finale is coming up Tuesday, March 19th. It's on TV Land on Tuesday nights at 10, 9 Central. I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Without empty space, the world's atoms could fit into a grain of salt. So all of the extra stuff is just extra space. Huh. All of the atoms in the world could fit into a grain of salt. That's kind of crazy when you think about that.
That's crazy.
It says we are surrounded by empty space. And not just between ourselves and the outside world, between even the atoms inside of us. The BBC explains that even the most solid-looking object is predominantly nothing. Put another way, if you remove all the empty space in the atoms that make up a human being, he or she would be a lot smaller than a grain of salt. So everything else is just like minuscule. Huh. Kind of crazy. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Here's a fun trip back to the 80s.
Surely you can't be serious.
Join us in Las Vegas for 80s in the Desert May 3rd and 4th. Hang out with other 80s fans.
International language of love.
Meet several 80s icons from the movies and rock out to awesome music from the 80s. Flock of Seagulls, The Romantics, Mr. Scandal with Patty Smythe, Thomas Dolby, Pretty Poison, and more. See the full list of bands and icons at radiotravelgroup.com. That's radiotravelgroup.com.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Geniophobia. Genuphobia. Geniophobia. What do you think that would be? Or maybe it's genuphobia.
The fear of
You'll never
truth.
Get it. No. The fear of knees. Huh?
Oh.
Knees. Why isn't it neophobia? But
probably
it is
like
geniophobia.
I'm where I'm taking that from is the word genuflect, where you get down on one knee in the church to do the sign of the cross. I think that is
must be something there. Fear of knees, genuphobia. Thanks for listening to Fun with Phobias.
Do you have a pretty good sense of humor? You might like this. Early in the morning each day and every day, we share something weird to make people laugh at WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't even need to spend a penny. Just follow the page on Facebook and get a smile to start each day when we share the Weird Gift of the Day. Not on Facebook? That's okay. You can see the weird gifts on our website too. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. We haven't talked about what they've had on there for a while. We'll have to dig that up again and start talking about some of those because there's some weird stuff on there. A lot of the things right now have to do with St. Patrick's Day, I've noticed.
Yeah, I saw
some weird stuff.
I think they posted today mullet.
Yeah, that was the other day. You might have saw it today, but there was one on there. Deputies say a pregnant Florida woman is accused of stabbing her boyfriend for looking at a photo of another woman on his roommate's cell phone. A lot going on here. 25-year-old Julitza Emily Gonzalez, according to this story, stabbed her boyfriend because, and his name is not in the story, but he showed a photo of a woman to her, and it was somebody that his friend wanted to date. He was looking at the photo. This girlfriend is pregnant, and something sparked an argument between the two. The quarrel began, and she stabbed him at this point. It says a short time later, the boyfriend ran into the roommate's room with a stab wound to his stomach and said, that bleep stabbed me. He didn't say bleep, of course. The roommate used his shirt to put pressure on the wound. They dialed 911, and paramedics and police arrived. So, wow, what a weird story. I don't know what was going on there. Probably a lot more than just looking at a photo, apparently. This is Weird News. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Pasco deputies arrested a Brooksville, Florida man for intentionally spraying his neighbor with a pressure washer. So 52-year-old Johnny Plaster Jr. came out of his house, started up a pressure washer while his neighbor was outside weed blowing his yard. It says weed blowing. I've never heard of weed blowing. Like leaf blowing, but blowing weeds apparently? I don't know. According to the affidavit, the arrest affidavit, as the neighbor walked towards the front of his property, Mr. Plaster sprayed him with a pressure washer, quote, without his consent.
Is this did that harm him? I'm just wondering if you got...
No, he sprayed him and got him wet. It caused the dirt
and
in the water
arrested?
To hit the neighbor in the face and the upper body. Surveillance shows him approaching and him spraying. He was arrested and faces battery charges. So.
For real?
Yeah, like assault and battery, not like a battery that you charge. That sounds funny.
I understand that.
Yeah, that's a legit thing.
Spraying somebody with a hose. So
there are some people that live in neighborhoods that go, I wish my neighbor was only spraying water at me. They're spraying.
Yeah, talk to Rand Paul. He would have much rather been sprayed with a hose.
So yeah, that's crazy. That is today's moment of duh.
Is your credit card a good fit for you? How did you even get the card you have now? Was it mailed to you? Those are usually the worst cards. They typically have higher fees and rates. Someone has to pay all that postage to mail out millions of cards every day. If you like a better credit card, check out the website bettercreditcards.net. This is a great place to find the cards that are usually a better fit for you. bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these three things. Heidi, tell me, what do these three things have in common?
Here we go.
Killer, honey, bumble.
Bees?
Yes, good job. They're all types of bees. A killer bee, a honey bee, and a bumblebee. So there you go. Every time I hear bumblebee, I think of Ace Ventura. Bumblebee tuna?
Oh, yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
Was it Ace Ventura 2?
Yes, it was the second one.
That was a terrible movie, wasn't it?
It was pretty bad.
I think
the first one was brilliant.
Isn't that the reason that Jim Carrey does not do sequels now? Because of Ace Ventura 2?
Don't do sequels.
I'm pretty sure that he doesn't. Because there was... Bruce Almighty did really well. They wanted to do a sequel, and he wouldn't, so they did Evan Almighty instead. But, anyway, Bumblebee Tuna. They're all types of bees. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show. This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Take a listen to this. Our good news, by the way, comes your way courtesy of radiotravelgroup.com. Radio Travel Group. Again, I apologize. I was saying that wrong for like the first week, so I was saying club, but it's radiotravelgroup.com. This, I think, is a really cool story. So... price of cancer drugs, 390 different cancer drugs. Like if you've ever known somebody who's got things, any sort of illness, but something like the big ones like that, like cancer, one of the most expensive things is just the medication. So almost 400 anti-cancer drugs have been slashed up to 87% in price.
Nice.
Expected to save patients millions of dollars in India. So this is in India.
Not here.
Well, hopefully it'll go all over the place. But the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, and this is in India, their government fought for this, and maybe ours will too. They're fighting to get this, and they're cutting up to 87% of the price.
Wow. On
this giant list. And
that needs to happen here.
I think that's a really cool thing. And I've got a link to the story if you want to read all about it. I don't want to get into it and get all political and have people get upset, but I just think if there's somebody that's ill and there's a way to help them, and the thing that's in the way is something that costs too much to help them, I think there's a problem with that.
Yep, I agree.
It just seems weird to me. So I think this is just a cool thing. And again, not trying to get political. When we do, then people get all upset. So I'm not taking any political stance on this, just saying I think it's a cool story. And if you want to read it, it's in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. I'm excited for next week, by the way. We've got a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be visiting with Eddie Deason on the Monday program next week.
I like him.
He was in the movie Grease. He was in a bunch of other movies.
He is awesome.
And he's just been such a fun guy. And it was commented on Facebook on his birthday, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And somebody was saying, you should try to get him on the program. And we did. So I think that's really cool. Eddie Deason will be our guest on Monday for a Movie Star Monday. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.